I hope you liked the video, the one that I showed you about the fertilizer that I used, the Neptune's Harvest, and then also my little tour that I gave you of the vegetables and everything. The video that I'm going to be doing, my camera has been getting kind of heated up because of the temperature and the sun coming in on it and everything. So this will be definitely a different time for the video. I'm doing it now as an introduction because I'm having to do a couple things. And then the second thing, when the weather cools down a little bit, or actually the sun goes down a little bit, then I'll go into more detail where I can talk to you about what I'm doing in the two parts of the growing. Is that for tomatoes and tomato stakes. These are indeterminate tomatoes. These are not the bush tomatoes, they are indeterminate. Meaning that because of the space that I have with my beds, generally when you look at your tomato plants, they have a little bit of space in between them, about 2 feet, even 3 foot. And it's based on what type of tomatoes you're growing, especially if you're doing bush. But then indeterminate is that it's a vine and it's going to continually grow upward, or however you decide that you want to do, whether you use the tomato cages or you use string, or a way that they call the Florida weave. That's a different type of a thing that you can do. I recommend that if you're doing a lot of tomato plants. I only have a half of a bed. I could have done the weave, but with the space and everything, it just works better for me. For my confined space, is that it works better for me just to stake them. And one term that I use, I tried to use it last year, is that tomatoes have a way, if you stay away from them for 1 week, even a few days, they're going to go on their own and they're going to decide, and they grow pretty rapid. That's why, you'll see tomato stakes even 6 and 7 feet tall. But it's how you train it, or how you want it to grow and everything, is based on what you can do with it. So if you have a cage and you have multiple leads or multiple branches that actually stem off that you'll get tomatoes from, or you can do what I'm doing, is a single stem or the single lead as it goes up the stake, as it grows. That's what I want to do it. Now, I will not take the tomatoes off because that's part of the harvest. But what I want to do is that the pruning and making sure that I get plenty of air in there, airflow, is what's going to help my tomatoes grow. The other thing is that keeping those leaves off the ground. That's how they get disease and so forth. So by pruning it as it grows taller and keeping those long branches off the ground is really going to help you. You could actually, twine it up and keep it off. I choose to prune because I've seen and I've witnessed that where these tomato plants are way taller than me and having to get up on a ladder just to pick the tomatoes. That's what's really fascinating. Now the stakes that I have are 6 foot stakes, and I have them put in the ground a little bit. And even at that, I can add another stake to it on top of it to let them continue growing. And that's what I'll do. Now, if I want to stop, all I have to do is just chop the top off, and it's not going to grow upward anymore. It's going to grow outward. So that's something that you can do also, but I want to get a good tomato harvest. And that's been really hard for me in the past years, is that I just haven't caught the niche of getting great tomatoes. I want big tomatoes. But at first what it takes is I have to make sure that I'm on top of it. Now you say, Dave, you're getting ready to go out, so how are you going to do that? Well, hopefully what I can do is that to be able to ask somebody to actually prune them for me. The other thing is by me going ahead this week and really paying close attention to them, is that it's going to be easier to catch those other leaders that they're trying to go. So if I have somebody come down to the garden for me, I can tell them where to prune. That's the nice thing about technology, is that they can actually do a FaceTime with me and show me it, and I can tell them exactly what to do. So that's what I'm hoping for, and what I'm going to try to do. But I want to show you about staking tomatoes based on the single stem. So I've taken my camera off the tripod. I'm over here by tomatoes. I'm going to actually turn it around. I wanted to get you a closer look at what I'm doing with the tomatoes, is actually the single stem with that. My camera may get hot, but again, I can do, nice thing about it, I can edit, and I'm just very free when I tell people what I'm doing, because I just want you to be a part of it, and this is everything that I do. But anyway, I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to show you what I understand about single stem as far as tomato plants and everything, and I'll actually remove a couple suckers, and then I actually have a plant that I'll show you that I have to decide whether or not what is the lead and what is not the main stem. So I'm going to show you that now. So as you can tell, these are tomato plants. I have the tomato stakes and everything that I have here. I've actually seen a couple of them that I actually clipped one that I kind of made a mistake on it, but that's okay because tomatoes are resilient and they usually do well based on, you know, just give them a little time and everything. They're going to continue to grow. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. They're going to do what they need to do. But anyway, I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to show you, if I can find it again, the actual, that what I'm looking for as far as where I have a sucker. I had it there. I thought it was that plant, but it's not. But I have it here. I'm actually going to show you what a sucker is, where to remove it, and then what to do when you get to it and everything, because that's what you have to deal with these tomatoes. That's the number one thing that you want to do, is that's what I'm actually doing. I'm searching and I'm looking for the sucker that I'm looking at. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. This is one of them down here in the bottom. You see this right here? This is actually a sucker. I'm gonna come in here. If my scissors are okay, I can come, or else I can just take my finger because it's a smaller plant and I can pinch it and take that off. So I'm removing that sucker out of there, and this is the main stem that it's coming up to that I'm allowing it to grow. Here's another plant, and this sucker's way down in here. Look, you see that right there? I'm trying to get it where it focuses real good, where my hand is, where my finger is pointing. This is a sucker. What you want to do is you want to get a good clean pair of scissors. You want to come in here. I'm actually going to remove the sucker because that's right in between the branches. I'm going to take that sucker away. And because this branch is all the way down, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove this one. That's going to leave this top branch right there. That's going to help as far as the growth. So number one thing is you want to remove the sucker. So if I was looking at this branch here and there was another branch to come out, I would remove that sucker in there. And single stem is exactly what this is. This is a single stem. So what I have to decide is where it splits off. And see, I have the foliage. I want to see which one is a single stem. So I'm gonna tie it up as it goes up on the bed. On the stake, excuse me. Hey, Avi, did you come out here to help Papa? What are those? Can you say tomato? Can you say tomato plant? Tomato, that's right. Got my little granddaughter out here. Don't pull the leaves, okay? We're gonna help it. You wanna help Papa take the branches? So I have my granddaughter out here. She's helping me. She loves to be out here in the garden with me, Papa. And it's always great to have her out here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the low branches. You can see right here, I have another one coming out. Let's see if I can remove that. I'm actually gonna take that branch away and remove that. So I'm looking for the lower branches on here. Yeah, put the dirt on it. Put the dirt on it, honey. You're always gonna have something if you have a toddler around, right? Aviana is the one. That's right. Put it around the tomato. That's wonderful. Put it around there. Excellent. Just put it around it. There you go. So as I'm saying is that these are single stem. And so when I look at these stems, here's one right here that I'm looking at. I'm going to remove this sucker. And you see this is the base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it up here. And as I do a leader, what it's going to do is this is my main stem. It's thicker than the other branches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie it as it goes up the stake. As I was saying, this is the main leader right here. Now I have one right here on the back side. And what I'm going to do is with the string, is I'm actually going to come around it and I want to stake this up against close to the actual stake. Now this is not what I would normally use. I'm using this for right now. This is all I have. I want to go out and get what they call garden tape. It's green and we can use it and it's stretchy. So as the plant gets bigger, because I'll have to loosen that up. So what I've done is that I've got a single lead. So I will watch these leaves. Actually, I will go ahead and remove. I'll go ahead and remove these bottom ones because they're not going to do me any good. These are sun leaves. There's no tomatoes on them and they're not going to bother it. So that's okay to have that, because then it grows up. So as my granddaughter is continually to help me till the ground up and everything, I want to show you what I mean, what happens to a tomato plant. So you'll see this is the main stem down here. If you notice, I have a stem here, I have a stem here, and I have a stem here, and then that's growth off of it. What I want to do is I'm looking for tomatoes. I'm looking for little clusters. If I don't have a cluster, then my question is, which one should I remove? Well, what I do is I see which one is the thicker one, and that's this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this one and this one out here too, and this is going to be the main stem, and all the growth will go to that. So I'm going to try to do this the way that I want to. So what I'm going to do, even though you think, oh Lord, what is he doing? Well, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to remove this right there. I'm taking that away. And then now I can leave this leaf, but also right here, look, I've got a little sucker right in here. So I'm going to pinch this off. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to tie this up. So when I tie that up, that's a single stem. So I'm going to be able to do that. Is that what I'm doing? So that gives you essential what you have to look at. You want to make sure. So like this one over here on this side, you will see the clusters, the little yellow flowers. I don't want to remove that. If it starts growing, what I'll do is I'll take another one off to allow it to keep those tomatoes there. So this is single stem, and you're using the tomato stake, and what I'll do is the whole way up is that as it grows, I'll continue doing that. So you see these here, what this is the main stem. So these are about the same size. So I have one or two choices. I can turn this. See how this is going downwards, and then this one is sort of going up, and look, I've got all these clusters up here. I'm going to make this the single stem for right now. So I'm going to have it grow up, and then right now, and then I'll watch this leaf to see what it's going to do. It's a lot longer. I mean, it would be taller if I did, but because of the variation, I want the growth. So I'm going to make the growth go on this and allow it. So that's all part of the single stem. What you're doing is you're just training it up as it goes. What I was explaining to you, and with the help of my granddaughter, Aviana, it's great to have her out here. She was all pretty and everything, and she immediately just heads right for the dirt. But that's okay. We can wash her off and get her clothes. Those can be washed and everything. It's always great to have my children, my grandchildren out here with me in the garden. So it's always a learning process. So while I'm doing the videos, that's why I have her out here too, because she comes out, she wants to spend time with her pawpaw, and I really value that time. But I hope understanding what the single stem with the tomatoes is something that you will be able to do, or something that it may be a way of you trying to grow and everything, and what I'm going to do. And I'm hoping that everything is going to do well. I'm trying to teach other people how to do it, to keep an eye on it and everything. But that is part 2 of this video. And it's actually, like I said, the title of it is to single stem your tomato plants, and by using a tomato stake and everything, and understanding what the process of it is, and understanding what you can do.